Impossible things that shouldn't exist, but do anyway. Our first entry is the Dodecahedrons of Rome. The ancient Romans kept detailed records of their daily lives, and it has been immensely useful in helping us to understand many of the artifacts they left behind. But one thing that researchers can't find any explanation for is the dodecahedrons. The dodecahedrons is a 12-sided object with holes in each side and small nubs at each corner. While several theories have been proposed for their use, no one is exactly sure what they were used for. Some theories include measuring the cosmos, holding waxy candles, or scorekeeping. Our next entry is the Atlantean Metal. In one of Plato's most famous works, Critias, he describes a mythical metal said to have originated from the legendary lost city of Atlantis. The Atlantean metal, known as orichalcum, previously considered a myth, was discovered in a shipwreck in 2014. This discovery lends possible credence to the timeless legend of Atlantis. Next entry, the London Hammer. Somerville Museum is home to a rare iron hammer. The hammer is composed from 96.6% pure iron, a concentration that wasn't possible without the use of modern smelting technology. However, this modern hammer is encased in prehistoric stone, a phenomena that researchers are struggling to explain. The Baigong Pipes. Mount Baigong in China's Qinghai province is home to a naturally formed pyramid that crowns the impressive mountain. The site also contains a series of iron pipes leading to a saltwater lake. Scientists believe that this antique piping may be as old as 150,000 years old. The Baghdad Batteries is our next entry. Alessandro Volta would invent the battery in 1791. However, in 1938, an archaeological dig outside of Baghdad revealed that the ancient Sumerians may have developed a similar technology nearly 2,000 years earlier. They did this by using an iron rod encased in copper and housed in a clay pot with acid. Our next entry is the Lizardman of Obaid. Over 7,000 years ago, humans set up the very first permanent settlements in the area now known as Iraq. Upon excavating these sites, archaeologists have discovered sculptures by the Obaid people. The statues depict lizard-human hybrid beings. Scientists can't find any explanation for the figures, and some even posit that they may represent beings that the Obaid had interacted with. Our next entry is Stonehenge. One of the world's best-known ancient sites is Stonehenge. The ring of large, heavy stones continues to baffle experts as they try to figure out exactly how it could have been constructed. The 30-foot-tall stones had to travel over 20 miles through muddy, hilly terrain, a feat that would have been all but impossible without the use of modern machinery. Even then, that would have been a pain in the butt. Our next entry, the Legend of the Crystal Skulls, and not the Indiana Jones one. Sure, the idea of crystal skulls probably conjures image of Indiana Jones, but in fact, over a dozen skulls have been discovered in archaeological sites all over Mexico and Central America. Heck, some of these artifacts are over 1,300 years old. Many of them are life-size and incredibly detailed, far exceeding relics of the same time period. The Ancient Greek Computer. In 2006, experts examining remnants of an ancient Greek shipwreck discovered a machine involving a complex network of gears and levers, and featuring intricate inscriptions that have yet to be fully deciphered. It has been dubbed the Antikythera, and is thought to have been used to calculate celestial movements, making it one of the world's very first predecessors to the modern-day computer. Next is the Sri Lanka meteorite fossils. In 2012, a meteorite plummeted to the ground in Sri Lanka, and on it, experts discovered microscopic organisms similar to marine algae. While they aren't exactly little green men, the algae does represent the first alien lifeform to be gathered from a meteorite crash. Next, the Devil's Bible. Written on pages of animal skin, ew, this ancient book is often called the Codex Gigas, or the Devil's Bible. This book was said to be written by a dying monk who had been buried alive and used his final hours of oxygen to pen the work. What's more, in its pages, the monk claims that the story was co-authored by Satan himself. Our next entry, the Vonage Manuscript. This manuscript was written in the early 1400s by an unknown author. It contains illustrations of plants, star formations, strange rituals, and cryptic mysterious text. The text is in an unidentified language that top experts have repeatedly failed to decipher. Our next entry, the Williams Enigmalith. The Enigmalith is a simple stone that has been worn down over time. It is a smooth oval shape, and on closer inspection the rock appears to be a modern-day electrical component embedded in a piece of granite. This is astounding given that the stone is thought to be as old as 100,000 years. The next entry, the Göbekli Tepe. The Göbekli Tepe is an ancient religious site in Turkey, and it may be the oldest one ever discovered. The site is so ancient that it defies the currently accepted timeline of societal evolution, which states that the religions were formed following the cultivation of agriculture. But Göbekli Tepe may force experts to re-examine this information. Our next entry is the disappearance of the Sanjingdui. The ancient Sanjingdui civilization existed in what is now China, and they created some of history's most stunning artifacts. They created works of bronze and giant masks that dwarfed anything else on Earth at the time. While there is no explanation for the vanishing of the artifact's creators, they thrived until approximately 3,000 years ago and were some of the most sophisticated early people. Our next item, the prehistoric Russian gear. While preparing to light a fire, a Russian man discovered a shard of aluminium in a chunk of coal. The aluminum is thought to be part of a handmade tool that dates back as far as 300 million years, and while scientists still have tests to run, it may be one of the world's earliest metal tools. Our next entry, the Copper Scroll Treasure. Typically, treasure maps are the work of Hollywood and novelists seeking adventure, but a long, thin copper scroll was discovered among 800 other documents. The scroll is one of the infamous Dead Sea Scrolls, and it is thought to contain directions to the Ark of the Covenant, along with hundreds of other sacred treasures. Our next entry, Nazca's Lines in the Sand. In the heat of the Peruvian desert exist massive etchings that cover over 50 square miles with individual photographs of plants and animals that are up to 1,200 feet long, and the sheer scale of the drawings have left experts with more questions than answers, including how and why they were created. Our next entry, the Peary Rise Map. In the early 1500s, a Turkish admiral named Peary Rise combined 20 known documents to create an extensive world map that depicted land borders of Europe, Africa, South America, and Antarctica, a continent that wouldn't be discovered for another 300 years.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Our last entry is the Shroud of Turin. Discovered in 1898, the Shroud of Turin has a picture imprinted on it, and the picture is thought to be none other than Jesus Christ, and the cloth is thought by many to be what Jesus wore at the time of his death. Some of these things can be a little hard to believe, but hey, that's all up to you, really. I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody, and if you did, why not go up to the next 2 videos and click on one of them. See you all next time, everybody.